is Carol Murphy, and I've been practicing yoga formally since the age of 19. I'm 47 now, so it's 28 years. And I have a degree in philosophy and actually a master's as well. My main influences with yoga are Iyengar and Ashtanga. So this would be the Krishnamacharya lineage, so that's what it's known as. And I studied Iyengar for 12 years and Ashtanga for 8 years. I gave up Ashtanga after Pattabhi Jois died, shortly after. Things were just coming to a place where I wanted to integrate more of Ayruveda and chakra work and tantra work and just different parts of the work that I have studied into my teachings. I think I'd been teaching about 10 years before I started teacher training. Yeah, and then I've been training for the last 10 years. Yeah, so I'm teaching 20 years and all training for 10 and teaching for 10 before that. In the style of yoga that I teach, it's actually very important to know how the body works. And because I'm a trained neuromuscular therapist as well, I would have a deep insight into the body scientifically as well as from a yoga perspective. And fascially looking at how everything is connected in the body. So I explain the biomechanics of the pose and how they tie in with the adjustments and why we do this and why we do that, so that people can, through the adjustments, learn how the pose works. And I think it's really important to provide a level of safety in the teaching of yoga, that people, should know the functions of muscles and what they do, and the common mistakes and the common neuromuscular mistakes and related to poses, etc. So my teachers get all of that. Okay, so you're basically going to lift the hips, come forward onto the hands, stand up a little bit. Good. Take chaturanga in the arms, so narrow the elbows. You have that. Excellent. Good. Don't go too low. Yeah, but yeah. And then you're trying to straighten out that bottom leg. So you can see here that I'm just standing there, yeah. And then this straightens out. So yeah, it is touching that arm a little bit. Okay, so what I want to do is sit in Sukhasana, easy cross legged. And you're going to do some lateral flexion. And the idea here is that so you're waving the arm over. So you can choose one side first. Good. It's comfortable for you to contract this side here and open this side. Yeah. And then there's not much opening here. Yeah, because again, on the other side you should get more opening here, and then this side. Okay, let's do one more. Good. Thank you very much. Okay. The ground, shoulder width apart. Good, straighten your elbows. Good, and then you can walk in again. And then straighten up again. Try and straighten, lift into your chest, hips forward, and then walk in again. And they can bend as you walk in, yeah? Now, that's it. People tell me all the time that one of the big reasons they choose my training is because of the anatomy and the alignment. Even though it's Vinyasa, it's Vinyasa flow, it's a flow form, But for teaching, even though I like to do flowing practices and people are sweating and just, melting away the tensions and the strong asana, we also do work where we slow things down and everything is broken down and explained. And how the body works, not just in relation to the poses, but also the body itself and how the central nervous system works in relation to stretching and different things like that, and the mind-body connections. So there's a lot more depth relating to the anatomy that I believe when we teach this type of yoga is very important. The subject of Ayurveda is so huge, but I do include it on the course, and I do that for a couple of reasons. One is that it's a form of self-development for people. So when people get to know their dosha or their prakriti, which is the constitution they were born into, people love that, and when they see it in other people as well, and it starts to explain a lot about why they may act a certain way, or so they see it themselves in relation to nature, which is really, really interesting. And the meditation, the breath work, the asana, the philosophy, they all come together. It's like they're all one subject, and they support each other. Even the Yoga Sutras, which I really love teaching with a group this year more than other years, I have to say, because I'm really slowing it down and teasing them out and, inviting the group to contribute and doing circle work and using crayons and art therapy and empathic listening. And so we're it's not just me standing there talking at my students, but there's a real contribution and co-creation from the group and a sharing. We're in a very idyllic holiday environment, and I think it's great to be in a beautiful environment for the training, and it's a real blessing, but it is not a holiday. I love practicing outdoors. Ultimately, the connection with nature is beautiful. And even when I practice at home, I practice indoors, but I'm looking out over water and a lot of trees. Teacher training in India, it's just such a blessing, to teach in the birthplace of yoga. And there's just an energy here that, isn't anywhere else. And I have to say, I feel very, very grateful for that.